What is good, family? This is your girl. I am Corny Michelle, and thank you for joining us for another edition of
Say What?
Say What? This is a show that we talk about everything that has happened over the past week that had us scratching our head, thinking, what in the world is going on? The news is always crazy and is always something to talk about. So we try to condense it as much as we can, but it's always so much. And it's so much for me to cover that I always like to bring up the lovely, the beautiful ladies. So before I do, let me give a shout out to the people in the chat. Hawk, Chemo, I see you. Demetrius, Slam, Diane La Rosa, Super Patriot. I see you guys today. Happy Saturday. Let's bring up some more beautiful ladies. First, I'm going to bring up the one, the only, the one that fought for this country, and the one that I'm still scared of because she can beat my ass. What's going on, TJ Randolph?
Hello.
How are you doing today?
Ain't no ass beatings going on no more.
Okay, not today. Look, holler at me tomorrow. You know, it's always something.
That's right. I'm good. Right.
Now, last but definitely not least, she is gorgeous. She's so fine. Man, I was about to say something, but that might have sounded gay. I was going to be she's so mine, but I was like, wait a minute, that's a little... She's ours. She's ours. The lovely, the beautiful, the oh so precious. She's so lucky. What's going on, Luck?
Well, I am yours.
I was like, she mad, but I was like, wait a minute. That sounded a little. So let me have to clear that up. She ours.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
How are you ladies?
I already said y'all's minds. I've said that before.
Right.
I said y'all. I said these two belong to me. I said, and that sounded wrong too, but still.
We understand it. So how's everyone weekend going? There's a lot going on this week. Are you guys ready to discuss what's going on in you guys' lives right now?
Lessons. I'm learning the lesson right now.
Okay.
In life, I'll just keep it there.
Yeah. Well, I understand that. TJ, how are you?
You know, I'm really good. I was talking to my sister yesterday and I had a moment. And I was looking around my house and thinking about my life. And I said, you know, for the first time in my life or a long time, I'm just really content.
Mm-hmm. How does that feel? Content? Because when you say content, the people think that's an ugly word.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I don't need nothing else. I don't want nothing else.
At peace.
I am at peace. You know, I think a lot of times we keep striving for this. If I get this, I'll be happy. If I get this. I look around and I have everything I need and many of my wants. So I am very content.
Well, that is an awesome place to be.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we're going to get
What about you, Courtney? How are you feeling?
Yes.
Oh, you look good.
Well, you know, this red is just you ladies look beautiful, but it's just something about the power color of red.
I know. I know.
We did talk about red the week of Rihanna.
We did. And this ain't nothing satanic. Just a power color. So I like it.
It is.
All right. Well, you guys, let's go ahead and start because there is a lot going on and I'm going to try to condense it. I know sometimes these streams go a little longer, but it is Saturday and I got on a red dress because I might be stepping out. Okay. Hello. So what has been going on? Well, there's a lot going on in my state, the state of Tennessee. We have been in the news for a whole lot of stuff, but this one that we've been in the news and continuously been in the news kind of got me like, well, y'all already know.
Say what?
Tennessee cop Megan Hall breaks her silence after being fired over a sex scandal. Have you guys kept up or know about this story of this ex-police cop?
Yeah, the liar. Yeah, I've kept up.
Yeah, TJ, are you familiar with this one?
I'm familiar when it first broke that basically she slept with all these gentlemen here.
Well,
no, they ran a train. It was quite different.
It was a lot going on.
I'm trying to but we gotta call a thing a thing. Shout out to Yala.
All right.
Well, the Tennessee cop got fired over numerous sexual romps with other officers. And she is filing now a lawsuit against the officers that she was in a romp with. She is 26 years old, and she's blaming her troubled marriage and her random affairs on her having mental anguish, and that one of the chief officers knew about it and exploited her. So before we go in, let me pull up a clip that this was on the news here. Let's see what she got to say, because now she wants to sue.
Hall was 24 years old when she was hired as an officer here at the Laverne Police Department 2 years ago. Her plan was to have a career in law enforcement. She now knows that dream is likely over.
I remember while interviewing for the position at Laverne Police Department, they described the environment as a family. However, while I was aspiring to protect my community, the Laverne Police Department was not protecting me.
By now, most of the country knows what happened. Hall, 4 other officers, and the police chief were fired last month. This after 2 separate investigations found that Hall engaged in sexual activity and/or shared intimate photos and videos with several male officers. The chief and 2 sergeants were among those implicated. Now Hall and her attorney, Wesley Clark, are suing those 3 supervisors and the city in federal court for civil rights violations.
Megan wasn't looked at like a rookie cop to be trained and promoted. She was looked at as a piece of meat to be sexualized and exploited.
Since the story broke, Hall, the lone female officer fired and only woman on the second shift, became a target nationwide for sexual jokes and taunting.
I received harassing and threatening messages on my phone daily. I felt like I had been terrorized.
And yes, now she is suing. No criminal charges have been filed in the case. Hall knows there are those who will say she was a consenting adult who willingly participated in sexual antics in violation of police department policy, and that now she wants to blame others, including one sergeant who targeted her early on.
I know what most people are saying. You know, you could have said no. I get it. But my response to them is that I did say no, and he wouldn't take it for an answer. Eventually, I gave in from pressure.
So it's not as easy to say she could have just said no.
She did say no on several occasions. Miss Hall tried to get out of this relationship, and she was not allowed to.
Hall concedes she participated under duress. She's not saying she was raped, but adds that the salacious details made public of sex on the job put her alone center stage and do not tell the whole story.
They isolated me, they shunned me, they accused me, and they blamed me for becoming a victim.
Hall suffered from depression to the point of considering suicide, and at one point was hospitalized. She felt trapped.
My supervisors worked together to take advantage of my vulnerabilities and my mental health. And they used it for their gain and sexual pleasure.
And that included the police chief, Chip Davis. The independent investigation found he was aware of what was going on and even received intimate photos and videos of Hall.
Who do you even turn to when the chief of police is sexually harassing you? How could I get justice when the entire system, including the chief, not only condoned such behavior, but participated in it? I was lost and I felt alone. I had no one to turn to, and I had nowhere to go.
Hall now realizes her career in law enforcement is likely over, and she knows those ugly memes on social media will remain forever, her reputation sullied.
No woman should ever have to endure this type of abuse. What happened to me during my employment at Laverne's Police Department, it should never happen to anyone.
Hall now hopes to put what happened to her here at the Laverne PD behind her. She is married and says she has a strong family support system and says that it was her faith that helped carry her through the turmoil.
So,
Say what?
let's go, because
Say what?
lady. So she had, now it's now a total of 7 men on the police department here in Laverne. Laverne is roughly about 30 minutes away from the city. It's on the outskirts. And she's been on the police department she got hired on in 2021. 7 men, 5 of them that she admittedly had sex with, the other 2 she was trading nude pictures with. So they got suspended. Her and the other officers has now gotten fired. So now she is doing a lawsuit saying that she is actually the victim due to mental illness and they took advantage of her. What are you guys' thoughts, TJ?
Can I go last?
Yeah, okay. All right. Lucky.
Damn. Okay. Okay. Let me not judge because I've been in unfortunate situations.
Mm-hmm.
What mental illness allows you to give in to want to have sex? Yeah, I'm trying not to cuss. Have sex with men on the job. And let's say if it was something, what is it? I always get this wrong. Quid pro quo. What is that? Where you like, you do this for me, and then what position was she trying to get where they put that on the table? Or these are just the questions. And then what value did you add to the police force where you felt like, I can't get another job, so I'm going to do this because they say they need me for this. Usually if you're in a position and the men want to have sex with you, it's because they're the gatekeepers to wherever you're trying to get to.
Yeah.
So I didn't hear her say I was looking to be this in the police force and this is what I came to him with and this is what he said. Even that is not a mental illness. What mental illness do you have where you can still make a conscious decision? So you're still responsible for your conscious decisions. I think it's just embarrassing to her. And because she's married. So a lot of the times when we're embarrassed, we can create scenarios because we want people to feel sorry for us for whatever we was in. But come on now. It just sounds like if it looked like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck.
It's a
and
duck.
She's definitely ducking the situation, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I mean, girl, you got some. She seen them black men in there, and she said, "Listen, my work husband. She had a few of them. They was, that's."
Well, she said that she sought out role models at her new job, and instead of finding role models, she found predators, and this is what the lawsuit.
Okay, but why you didn't switch? What is it? Precincts.
Well,
don't get caught with the dick in your mouth, and now you want to sit up here and say mental illness.
Well, she says a lot more in the lawsuit. In the lawsuit, she also says that her supervisor and the chief of police groomed her for sexual exploitation. They used their authority to systematically disarm her resistance and entrap her in degrading and abusive sexual relationships, even sharing tips on the best way to manipulate and exploit her. The suit claims that Hall, who has a history of mental illness, and this is what she claims in the lawsuit, felt trapped, and in an attempt to escape, she nearly offed herself.
So you can have a lawsuit based on how you felt, not on actually what was happening?
Well, I think she's going to try to come to where they use their authority over her to make her into the sexual bunny.
They brought the demon out of her. They brought the slut out. That's what happened.
I don't know. What you got, TJ?
Okay, I'm taking notes. So she has a history of mental illness. The question I would have, if you have a documented history of mental illness, certain levels of mental illness prevent you from owning a firearm, one, and I would think will prevent you from being a police officer too. I'm spitballing this thing. So if you have this history of mental illness, depending on what the mental illness is. Now, if we were to say one person, I might give her that because, again, as we just talked about last week, the things that I had faced, even though I didn't go that far, but I could see how that may be possibly. But we're talking about 7 individuals.
7.
So I think and I was really kind of getting upset because, again, it's situations like that, in my opinion, that made it hard for women like me in the military to go up the ranks, because those kinds of things do happen. I'm not going to say that they don't. But again, there's the assumption that when a woman gets to a certain level in their career, it's because they've slept their way to get it. So that's why I get a little bit irritated with that.
Okay. All right. So
I think, like I said, maybe one person, yeah, but not 7. No, I'm not going with that.
So side note, when she was trying to get into the police academy, before she even got hired on to the police department, she was already having sex with one of the policemen that was featured. She was already having sex with him. They were trying to do threesomes because one of the men were married. She's married. As a matter of fact, she's still married. He gonna stick beside her. All the penises, he's gonna stick beside her. She was already having sex with one, threesomes with another couple, and then she got hired on. Now, mind you, okay, because it get a little weird. She's already having this little tyrant with one man. She gets hired on. Within a 2-year span, now she added 6 more bodies to her, right? The police officer that she was having sex with prior to joining was the whistleblower that told the department that she was out there thotting and bopping. Now, mind you, this police officer did not tell the people, and did not tell HR that he also did. He told, yeah, she's out here doing her thing on company dime, in the company car, in the gym.
Oh, so he loved her. She broke his heart when he found out she was a hoe. Okay.
It got juicy.
Okay.
And so he told on her, and she's like, "What? You gonna snitch on me?"
Yep.
So then it found out, wait a minute, he's telling all this, but I too had sex with him as well. And so they fired him for lying about not necessarily what she was doing, but not implicating that he was too.
It was a lie by omission.
Lying by omission. I said, well, this is getting a little juicy.
It's a daytime soap opera.
It's a daytime soap opera.
But the crazy part about it is she's not even saying like what pressure was she under for what reason. Like even if they gonna take it, it's a reason. You ain't even that fine. Like you ain't enticing nobody. So you had to have been throwing it at them as well. I'm not saying like that's women that aren't fine don't get harassed. Not what I'm saying, but I'm just saying in a workforce like that, you know what and those men, I'm sure they're married. I'm sure they're married. Yeah. So you were the work hoe.
7. Okay, listen, 7. I just can't abide that. 7. And again, the question becomes, she talked about, and of course, I know certain things are not going to be revealed because it's ongoing litigation, but they're saying that they groomed her to take advantage of her vulnerabilities. You have to prove that. You have to prove it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing about it is, well, I don't know what state she live in, because all of that matters when it comes into lawsuits. But my thing is,
she's in here, Tennessee. She's close to me.
Well, my thing about the whole thing is, why are you able to have a lawsuit and even try to attempt to sue the place where you worked when you were a willing participant? Like, I'm sure they have cameras in there. They can see who did the cat call or what certain things happened, who bent you over on what fax machine. Like, we can see all that. I hope it get real ugly, and I hope they post it on the Shade Room. You know, they be showing us.
She's claiming, from what I understand, she's claiming sexual harassment, clearly. That's what she's claiming, because she's not saying that she was raped by her own admission. Right. But she's saying that she felt that she had no choice. But again, and she's saying that she's being groomed to do this, and then who was she to complain to if the chief of police? Okay, listen, everybody has a boss.
Yeah, that's true.
Everybody does. I done whistleblowed, not because I that kind of stuff, but when I see something funky, I put it on. I ain't scared. Ain't never been scared.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Why she didn't ask for a transfer, and if the person that could transfer her wasn't the one that was doing this to her, or was he? You can always go over them. Like there's an HR, there's a corporate. She lying.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. So it's gonna be on my news. So I'll be keeping up with the lawsuit. I think it's absolutely frivolous. I think this is just an attempt to save face. Again, like I said, she was already banging and slanging one of the officers before she even got on the department. So this was happening even before getting hired. And I think that there was maybe some attachment going on with one of them, and that's why he snitched on her.
And here's the thing: you got 7 dudes, and again, I'm sorry, gentlemen, I'm just gotta go there. Like my mom, well, my grandma used to say, "Pussy don't have a face," so it's clear that didn't factor into it. It was just a piece.
It was just a piece.
I'm still here. I'm adjusting.
Okay, I got you. And let me put this a little bit more on there too, because also in the lawsuit, she said that she tried to break it off with one of the sergeant. His name was Sergeant Powell. She tried to break it off with him, but she claimed that he threatened to off himself again if she would break up with him. So she felt pressured that if she were to leave him, that it would be OV for him. So these are all the claims that she's saying in the lawsuit, and saying that also the sergeant encouraged this behavior and shared in the pornography and sexual fantasies of mutually abusing her with trusted advisors. So it's a whole lot of mess, and I'm going to keep up with it. Okay. It's the days of our lives.
This reminds me of a scandal.
A scandal
that happened when I was on active duty at the Naval Brig.
Ooh, what happened?
And one of my troops, she was caught in this sex scandal with members of the staff and inmates.
What? How many men or women?
About 4.
Okay.
And I had to investigate that. And I was so disappointed because I was, helping her to get ready to take her career to the next level. Again, I'm an officer. And I felt like a fool because she was straight up tossing it up for subordinates and prisoners.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, such a sad thing.
Was the prisoners fine?
Yes, but that's beside the point.
You ever seen those things? They talk about Prison Bay.
Prison Bay.
Like, oh, he looks so cute. And then you be seeing the mugshot when you slide over, like, yeah, that's a thing, girl. I don't condone it, but.
Well, did y'all see that picture of the women in prison? And it was all, all sister girls, but they were some pretty girls. And now the men are like, what's going on in these jails? Because they was just posing and had the butt out. They was fine. So it is a thing.
I've seen that. And they was trying to pay, they was trying to put money on their books and everything.
Well, that's a thing. It's a whole show about women finding prison babes.
Love after lockup.
Love after lockup.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Would you consider that something mentally wrong with someone that purposely goes out to look for someone that's locked up?
It's a self-esteem issue. We know this to be true. If you feel, because again, it's a level of control, right? Mm-hmm. Because you know where they are.
I don't know.
The hell?
Yeah, I'm trying to adjust the lighting. Do I look fine?
That looks fine right there. It's not on your face.
Because I'm 3 hours behind. Oh, I think 2, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
2.
Anyway, I don't see anything. I think it does. It's a self-esteem thing, right? Because how desperate do you have to be? But at the same time, I think it's no different than people who are dumb in the same relationship which in a mental prison with somebody who ain't changing, ain't gonna marry you, and you going through the same turmoil, you still selling yourself some sort of fantasy. At least you know the person in prison, he probably talking to, other than other people that respond. You know what I'm saying? So some people,
well, that's what you can tell yourself, because you know at the very least you know where he is. Now, just like you talking, or where she is, you know, she talking to you, she talking to everybody, but at the very least in your mind, you can rationalize that it's just me, because they ain't going
nowhere. You don't know what he doing in there for that.
You don't know what he doing for ramen noodles.
That's what I was gonna say.
And my head would be like, what's going on? Especially, how long have you been locked up? So,
and what you in there for?
And then when he get out, he gonna be wilding out.
So you wouldn't be with a man if you knew he had a felony, like he went to prison? Like he's not, you may not date him in prison, but now he's out of prison.
Would I date someone that was locked up?
No, he's not locked up no more, but he was.
And he had a past? Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, depending on what it is. But I think, because I mean, I have family. One of my favorite cousins was locked up. And it was on some drug stuff. But then he got out.
He did it.
He's completely different man, 2 kids, family man. So he's reformed himself because he, you know, so would I look at, you know, his soon-to-be wife and be like, why would you be with my cousin? No, I wouldn't. We all make mistakes. I think it depends on what it is and how long ago has it been since you've been out. Have you reformed?
And what's your job? Can you get a job, a career
with a felony? I mean,
you can create one, but that's a lot of work. But yeah,
well, you know what, and that's when the power of networking comes in. That's when family and friends come in. Hey, I know somebody. This usually, but this is when the networking comes in. This is when community comes in. This is when he get out, you know, make sure if he is reformed, it has to be a pattern and a behavior change. But yeah, I
have a relative. I mean, things have changed a lot, but I have a relative. This was back in the 70s. Went to prison for, I think, 10 years for manslaughter. And when he got out, long story short, he reformed, like you said, and he went on to be a major buyer for one of the large department stores, you know, May Company, the Broadway. You remember those department stores, Lucky? So he was a buyer for the furniture, and he's my uncle. He did tremendously well. But again, it depends on what you said. You know, what are you prepared to do? What did you do when you were in there? Did you maximize the opportunities for education and reform? And what did you do because he started out in the stockroom as a temp hire for the temp agencies in the stockroom, and ultimately worked his way to become a buyer who flew around the world buying furniture. So it depends on what you're willing to do.
His mind frame.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You know, there's a popular podcast. They got millions and millions. Gilly the Kid. What is it? Wallow. Have y'all heard of that podcast?
I love them.
Yeah. Well, you know, one of them, I got to pull it up because I don't want to be wrong, was it locked up for almost 20 years and got out reforming, now multimillionaire, huge. I mean, doing fabulous, going back, teaching young men about his past, how he was able to come up from coming out of prison to now to be a multimillionaire. I mean, that's a one in a lifetime kind of story, but still, you can still make something of yourself. Your past doesn't have to define you.
It's definitely something where there's actually a lot of ambitious people that come out of prison because they were in prison. So you have the guy who fought his own case. You know what I'm saying? You have the Central Park 5.
Right.
Like, you have different situations where there's Black men that could be in prison for a lot of things. Like, I've met somebody who had to register as a sex offender and he didn't do it. But in the circumstances, you know what I'm saying, it's better to register. You got to do this. There's a lot of things that will land people in unfortunate situations. So that's just why.
Yeah.
It's a good little dialogue.
But You know, if I'm on the job, if I'm a CEO, I'm not roasting with none of them Negroes.
Okay. We got on red. Let me play devil's advocate.
Okay.
Okay, so if she's a warden or a whatever, right? What is it? A sheriff in a prison, and she sees this person that's about to get out, and he's the person that's built good character. She see he's building stuff, everything we just mentioned. Would you say she was wrong to pursue him, even though he's still in prison while she was looking at him? F the job part. Let's say she's really looking for a partner.
Yeah, he's gonna have to show and prove. I got to see this in action, and I can't see it in action until you get your butt out of jail, because you can say all this stuff in jail and you are so focused, but it's different when you get out in these streets and then you get around your same people, the same crowd. Are you separating yourself from the people that you got in trouble with? Are you still on the block? Do you still have this eager when job after job is telling you no, and are you going to give up, or are you going to keep at it? So I need to see you out in these streets.
Yeah.
So no, like I said, ain't no shebanga banging when he's locked up. Absolutely not.
I thought maybe those sometimes be the scenarios. Every time I hear like a sheriff risk her job and with a prisoner, I'm like, dang, she must have seen something in him.
Never.
No.
She must have.
Never.
Never.
Well, we'll see how this works out for.
We'll see how this works out. And that's in my good state of Tennessee. All right. So I never was a comic fan per se. Like, I used to read the paper back in the day when it was a thing. And so I used to see the comic stuff and, you know, the Peanuts and all that. And then I do remember the Gilbert comic. Do y'all remember that? Lucky.
Is it Gilbert or Dilbert?
Is it Dilbert?
Dilbert. Okay.
Dilbert. Yeah, I'm sorry. So I remember that comic. I never really got into it, but I know it was more kind of like an office-based comic. And I remember going into working for corporate America. You go into the lunch area, and it would be these comics on the refrigerator when I'm trying to get my lunch to have my name on, and then I see something missing, then I go off. So I always used to see it, but now it's under fire, and Dilbert is canceled.
Why?
The cartoon Dilbert has been dropped by U.S. newspapers over the creator's racist comments. Lord, okay. I'm going to pull up what he said. But now, mind you that this comic strip has been going on since 1989. It has been shown in over 2,000 newspapers in over 70 countries. So this was huge, and it's been going on for decades. Now it has been recently canceled because of some comments. So let's look at these comments and see if y'all agree that the creator should be canceled.
Agree with the statement, it's okay to be white. 26% of black.
Let me preference before he goes in. He is reading off of a poll that he saw. And the poll asked two questions. One of the questions was, is it okay to be white? The other question was, can Black people be racist? Now, mind you, this was like an automatic question. It wasn't, no, well, what do you mean by that? No one asked it. It was just those two questions, and people had to answer it. And let me go in.
Said no. It's not okay to be white. 21% weren't sure. Add them together, that is 47% of Black respondents were not willing to say it's okay to be white. As you know, I've been identifying as Black for a while, years now, because I like to be on the winning team, and I like to help. And I always thought, well, if you help the Black community, that's sort of the biggest lever. You know, you can find the biggest benefit. So I thought, well, that's the hardest thing and the biggest benefit. So I'd like to focus a lot of my life resources in helping Black Americans. So much so that I started identifying as Black to just be on the team I was helping. But it turns out that nearly half of that team doesn't think I'm okay to be white. As of today, I'm going to re-identify as white because I don't want to be a member of a hate group. I'd accidentally joined a hate group. So if nearly half of all blacks are not okay with white people, according to this poll, not according to me, according to this poll, that's a hate group. That's a hate group. And I don't want to have anything to do with them. And I would say, based on the current way things are going, the best advice I would give to white people is to get the hell away from black people. Just get the fuck away. Wherever you have to go, just get away. Because there's no fixing this. This can't be fixed. Right? This can't be fixed. You just have to escape. So that's what I did. I went to a neighborhood where, I have a very low black population. Because unfortunately, there's a high correlation between the density. And this is according to Don Lemon, by the way. So here I'm just quoting Don Lemon when he notes that when he lived in a mostly black neighborhood, there were a bunch of problems that he didn't see in white neighborhoods. So even Don Lemon sees a big difference in your own quality of living based on where you live and who's there.
Okay, so I'm going to pause that now. What are your thoughts right now? So again, he is quoting some stats that he saw in a poll, and he is saying that majority of black people think it's not okay to be white, and that now because of that, black people are a hate group, and he wants nothing to do with the hate group. So he's telling white people to disassociate themselves from black folks because they think that it's not okay to be white.
I'm confused straight up. I'm just going to tell you.
Okay.
So was he saying that, okay, because I heard him say that for years he had identified as black.
So
that's the first part that confused me. I'm like, since when?
So let me bring up a tweet. This was back last year. And he put out a tweet saying, I'm going to self-identify as a black woman until Biden picks his Supreme Court nominee. I realize it's a long shot, but I don't want to completely take myself out of the conversation for the job. So I think he was maybe being funny, but the self-identify, how you can call yourself a woman if you're not. So now he's identifying as a black woman because he said it's the winning team for whatever reason. But then he went on this particular rant on his show that he has on YouTube as well. Should he have been canceled for that?
No, freedom of speech. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
I would say no, because if we're listening with objective opinion, we can tell that he's reading and he's basically comparing the black group of people that get away with doing stuff, but by definition, this is what it's called. And he's basically throwing in what other people say. So I don't think he should get canceled for it. But I think that when you're in a certain position, you should just stay away from certain conversations that you may want to have because it can risk it all. And then we also have to think about how people are finding out ways to get out of their contracts. So they're also going to do stuff to cancel, get controversy, things like that going. So no, I don't think that he was, but I'm also a believer of saying that black people are the first group of people that are quick to say racial slurs or things like that, prejudice against other cultures of people, but we're so sensitive to every single thing that somebody does to us, thinking that it's prejudice against us. So I don't know. I think he kind of had a point. I seen what he was trying to say, but I think instead of trying to say what your point in an analogy, you should just come out and say it, because now we're trying to figure out what the hell you're talking about.
I got you, TJ.
Yeah, because I'm like, okay, what? But I don't, again, first of all, freedom of speech. Some of the stuff he says is not necessarily a lie. I'm just gonna say it. I mean, when I think about some of the things that have happened as far as in places I've lived, some of that is true. With respect to the density, and yeah, some of that is true. Now, as far as calling us a hate group, I'm not sure I would identify as a hate group, because I'm not sure I agree with that. Because in as much as you can say that I don't think it's okay to be white, we're not saying that we despise you, or whereas that if we want to juxtapose that to the Klan, there's nothing good that can come from anything other than white people. So I don't agree with that, but I think some of the stuff he said was true. I think he was being sarcastic, and I think somebody put it was a satire, but I don't think he should be canceled for that. No.
Yeah. So I looked at the poll that he was reading, and I know this is a lot of numbers and fairly big, but at the bottom, it tells race and the percentage of people that was asked those two particular questions. Now, there was only at the top, you see national survey of 1,000 American adults. So it's only 1,000 people first that was asked those two questions. So we like to play these, well, I got this is a quote, this is a stat, but we all know stats, you can make up a lot of stuff with a stats. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's true. This is of 1,000 people, and of those 1,000 people, 13% of those people were Black. Let me show this. So if 13% of 1,000 people was Black, then that was only a take of 130 Black folks. And I think that it was just kind of screwed up to me as far as the stats and what he's trying to say. So he's telling us all Black people don't believe that it's okay to be Black, but in the survey that he's researching and talking about with thousands and thousands of people, it was a very, very small group.
So what was the point of him even bringing it up if it doesn't speak to them? What was the point of him
I don't think he knew that it was just 1,000 people. I think he saw this on Twitter and said, well, this amount of people said in this poll that they don't, and pretty much demonizing all Black folks when it was only 1,000 people and 13% of that was Black. So again, it's creating a narrative on his platform because he has a YouTube page and it's over 130K. And he's saying this to people and they're not going to look it up. They're not going to research it. Nobody, like I said, in this space, you can tell somebody this percent, people ain't going to read. People ain't going to research it. And so they believe it. So you saying this on the platform for over 100,000 people, and now they're going to come off listening to you thinking that majority of Black people don't think it's okay to be white, which I've never heard anybody say of my particular race. I don't think it's all right to be white. I've never heard that, but yet I've never been asked that. So it just seemed odd.
I mean, why does he care?
Unless he was trying to make a bigger point. I guess is he trying to make a bigger point to justify his stance of getting away from Black people?
I mean, who gives a shit? If he got away from Black people, would we even know or care? Go. Like, why if I gotta announce something? What is given is like, I'm gonna be the one to stand up against the group that everyone's afraid to address. But you didn't address nothing. Like, what?
No.
I don't even know who the hell he was. So y'all said something?
Me either. I mean, I've seen the Dilbert comic, passing by, but I never really read it. And
like a regular guy in Whole Foods.
Somebody said, Ro, I only love Black people. I only love good people. And the reason why I say that, because I've had bad experiences with my own kind, and I've had good experiences with my own kind, but I've also had very good experiences with people that were not my kind. So I love good people. That's who I love.
Yeah. When I was looking at that video, and I'm going to play the rest because he said some other stuff. Well, let me play the rest. What'd you say?
So what if you did just like love Black people?
And that's fine. But I'm just saying, for me personally, I love good people, no matter what color they are.
Well, all these people came from us. So,
yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. Got it.
Okay.
Is Michael B. Jordan here? Oh, that's Michael B. Johnson. Okay, I'm sorry.
She was about to get
Corny would have kicked us all down off the panel. Okay, if you want to hit the link, just go.
Now, Michael B., I know they called you corny. Okay. Not over here, baby. Not around here. Not around here. Y'all hoes had to go.
She says, Sister Code, what?
Y'all got to go. All right. Let me finish up what this man said, and because he said some more stuff about Black people. Hold on.
So I think it makes no sense whatsoever as a white citizen of America to try to help Black citizens anymore. It doesn't make sense. It's no longer a rational impulse. I resigned from the hate group called Black Americans, according to the Rasmussen poll. 46% of them don't think white people are okay. Understand that? Continuing to help in that sort of, classic, oh, let me help you, give you a lift up, give you a hand, mentor you, hire you, prefer you. I'm going to stop all of that. I'm done with all of that. Yeah, no, it didn't work. The only thing that will work is to say, you got to fix your own problem. You know how to do it. Everybody else figured it out. I'm not going to speculate, why you're not doing it. I'm not going to speculate why there's a difference. I'm just going to say it's available to everybody. You just pick it up. And I'm also really sick of seeing video after video of Black Americans beating up non-Black citizens. I realize it's anecdotal, and it doesn't give me a full picture of what's happening. But every damn day I look on social media and there's some Black person beating the shit out of some white person. I'm kind of over it.
He's a liar.
Right? So I quit.
So that's the point he's trying to make. That's the point. So again, he's anecdotal, but see, that's what he was really getting to.
But that's not even a point. How many Black people we beat the shit out of Black people?
I know, but again, that's why he's there. He's there to spin this narrative again that we are so violent. That's what all that was for.
But if he really felt we were violent, TJ, he wouldn't speak up. They know we're not. This is the thing. They know we're not violent. You see those videos where they be like, Karens be yelling in a Black woman's face. If they really thought we had that, you wouldn't be yelling in my face unless you crazy and you want to get hit. They know that's not the truth. I have not seen so many Black people who get the Karens and the Bobs in their face. And they're just like, I'm recording you right now, officer. They're trying to speak all correct and customer service like, and this lady is crazy yelling in your face. If they really thought we were crazy, you would have got hit with the phone. We wouldn't be recording you. You know what I'm saying? Like they know this.
Well,
they know
we're more civilized people because again, let's not play like we. Because see, I just saw some stuff just yesterday. This big old girl throwing at some fast food restaurant pulling somebody from. Let's not. Now the bougie.
But they are too. But I'm saying we're not a special group of violent people. They're very violent too. They raise their kids to be hunters and murderers. If we being honest. So
wait a minute, hold up. What?
You never okay. I honestly
who's raised to be murderers?
What I'm saying is, if you train how do you train somebody to be okay with killing something? You train them to hunt, to kill things, right? What there is, and y'all could think what y'all want, but y'all should probably look it up. When they train their kids, and I think that we should train our kids the same way. They train them to hunt. They rent out places for them to hunt and learn to kill things, such as young as 12. Right. Our kids aren't raised to do that. Therefore, that creates a different psychology alone in a child who learns to kill something that young. That percentage of Caucasian.
Let me push back because I come from a family of hunters and I hunt. And my granddad used to hunt deer and we used to cook it, some good old venison. So we used to hunt. And this is because I lived in the country and my uncles lived on a farm. So me knowing how to hunt or even being proficient or liking guns doesn't mean that I'm a murderer, because I don't think hunting is
that's
that.
not what
It's,
I'm
it's
saying.
being
But you're trained though. You
Not
learned,
trained.
you're ahead of me. You're more prone to be easier to do it than a person who was not raised with that instinct, is the point.
TJ, what are your thoughts? Because TJ
Well,
is trained
I
in
don't necessarily-
military.
I don't. Well, see, and again, it's different when you're training to in my opinion, you're training to hunt for food
Mm-hmm.
versus training to hunt from a human. I think those are very different things. And quite frankly, because I am trained, I'm less likely to shoot somebody. Seriously, because I am
How
trained.
old were you? How old were you when you were trained?
18.
That makes a difference, is my point. Trust me, there's a book on this. I can tell. I'll leave it in a comment when we're done. The psychology around a younger person, and they're not just killing deer to eat it. They're killing it. They're doing it as a sport. People who hunt, there is a sport. If I want to go catch a bear, if I want to go do all these things, it's nothing wrong with having that skill. I actually think our kids should learn that skill. Because when you have this situation like the little boy who did the shooting, and their parents had to be brought up on trial because they taught their kid to do that, there's a certain responsibility. There's nothing wrong with it. But what I'm saying is it teaches you to have a different psychology than a person who doesn't. So the fact that those group of people are more prone to it than our group of people, their psychology is automatically different, because you have a 6, 7, 8-year-old who already knows how to shoot something and not think about the life. The first thing they do to put something in front of you is something that you're not. You have to know what it's like to kill something. You already have an instinct. Now, the person responsible teaching you that has a responsibility to kind of mold you, know what's going on, make sure you develop the correct way. That's just the reality. I don't make if you look at the psychology between the kid who's more prone to do that and one that's not, it's a different instinct.
I'm going to push back on that, because I don't necessarily agree. And even the people that I know that are white, that shoot, that hunt, that are country in F-150s, are very conservative. The people that I know that's out here killing aren't hunters, or don't even know the idea of guns. Like a lot of people that. What'd you say?
I didn't say just because you were taught that you are this. I'm saying you're more prone to be okay with it. Now, you do have those who are raised in certain environments who the environment would teach them how to be to learn survival. Yes. But I'm talking about a person who, if you have the kids that go to school with guns, and from when I was raised, they weren't taught to hunt or even use it. But a scary situation, they're going to use it. So what I'm saying is they still have to learn that instinct. But if they were standing next to a person who had already developed that instinct on being okay with killing something, it would be a lot different than a person that's going to just shoot you just because they're scared. You get what I'm saying? That's my point. You already developed an instinct for it. So you're more prone to be okay with doing it versus a person who doesn't. It's a lot different of an experience.
I think definitely more disciplined in how to do it. I would say more disciplined, definitely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let me go over this super chat. Thank you so much, Ty313. So it's poor white communities have low crime rates, and look it up. Those are the FBI. Those who the FBI says is the most hated group. U.S. Stop. We're not racist. I have ethnic pride. Okay. And I should have read this one before, and this was going back to the police officer from here, Tennessee. Seems to me like they made her dreams come true.
Oh, he's talking about
yeah. Oh, I didn't say in that last segment that she has an open relationship with her husband. So that's why I think that he's saying they have an open relationship. Bang, bang.
Oh, they do?
Mm-hmm. So now when I was looking at that video of the Dilbert comic, and I was looking at the live chat. I love a live chat. And then I was seeing what people's reaction was when he was saying this thing in real time. And I thought it was interesting because there was a super chat by, I guess, a black man, was Tam Jen, They said, Black listener here from 2016. Are you suggesting I now unsubscribe? And then there were some more people in the chat. One guy even said, you might be canceled. So he foresaw what was about to happen. I want to get you guys' comments on this. And this was after it was posted and in the chat commenting on the video. And this is what Missy said. She said, we all agree with what you said. It is for the better we separate. There should be no issue, especially by the Black community. Everything wrong in their mind is because of white supremacy and racist white people. No matter what we do or how kind of a person you are, we are still devils in their minds. So let's do them a favor and remove our white selves and hope for the better of the Black community without whites around. I'm tired of listening to the news and all they do is blame white supremacy, white people, white privilege. It's exhausting.
Truth hurts. That's all I got to say to Missy. Truth hurts.
Well, was she telling the truth?
No, I'm talking about white supremacy, white privilege. I mean, all that exists. Now, it is up to us to do some things to rectify our community, no doubt. But we can't play like there aren't systemic things or institutionalized things in play. But yeah, we do have to kind of fix our issues. But it's sad because when we were segregated, they didn't even let us have that.
Mm-hmm.
So, Missy, try again, sweetheart.
What do when I think about men issues, right? I try to think less of myself and think of it from a man's perspective. So in this situation, I think of it, from a white perspective, maybe take my Black self out of it. If I was a white woman, white man or whatever, and hearing Black people talk, call me cracker, and don't get anything from it, I can get called a cracker all day and no one will say anything about it. But if I say the N-word, then I'm going to get canceled. If I'm a white woman and I'm getting told all this about me and being white and you're the reason, you white devils, I would feel a way, especially if I don't have any hate in my heart. I can't change my pigment. So I can see where white people will get tired of always being okay for being the blunt of a joke. I love white chicks. That's my movie. I love the Wayans. Everything the Wayans do, I'm going to watch it. And I love white chicks. But if you was to flip it and have white men turn into Black women named Shaquita and Shaquanda and doing all this with the braids, it would be a problem.
It would be a revolt. It would.
We would have an issue. But white chicks is a classic. Dave Chappelle, when he does his white face and becomes a news anchor. Who else done it? Jamie Foxx was a white news anchor and was funny.
Eddie Murphy did that too.
White face. But don't you dare have no white woman get braids. Don't you dare have a show and white women look darker. So it is a double standard, and I can see where the frustration would be.
Okay.
Lucky, what are your thoughts? Well, you kind of mentioned it already.
I think it's more so, what do we care about? We can't be outrageous of things that we also partake in of doing. We also have to understand that there are things that we don't understand past our own understanding. Mm-hmm. So with that, it's like we are the group of people that are so good at pointing at what everyone else may be doing to us. And we think it's okay that we do it to other people because look what we've been through. Look what we experienced in our history. It's like an excuse when if you don't, it's just like the N-word. If you don't like no one calling you the N-word, don't use it. If you don't like no one portraying you and mocking you, then don't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really that simple. And if you have a big problem with it, then you need to create parameters and boundaries that other cultures and people need to follow, that they know it's a boundary the same way we do with the Jewish community. You know what I'm saying? So they have strict boundaries that it doesn't matter, even if you're just giving an opinion and saying nothing wrong. If you reference them in the distasteful way, there will be consequences. The reason why it goes back to this guy and everything that we keep seeing, they can say stuff like this, they can do whatever and be overly opinionated and quote unquote get canceled after how many years of running. It don't even matter. You made most of the money off of stuff. You have Family Guy. You have so many shows that say racial slurs against groups that we think have boundaries. You have laws being put in place. Look at the Asians putting laws in place saying that Black people just attack them just to be attacking them. When Black people, there are a group of people that will attack you just like there are Caucasians. I have not experienced so many breaking in cars and home invasions since I moved into a suburban white neighborhood. It shocks me. And I'm like, I lived in the ghetto most of my childhood life, and I ain't never had our car broken into, or you know what I'm saying? So it's just certain things where you can say most crime, not even you can say it's a fact, most crime is within proximity. Most issues that we experience is within proximity. Most of the things that we see are magnified within ourselves because we're not at the table with Caucasian people often to know what their issues are. So I think that a lot of the things that people are able to say to us that we don't want said, we allow it because look how they look at what we allow within our own community. So there's no respect there.
And you said something, one of the things you said is that these different communities that, you can't cross the boundaries because you'll basically get shut down. But here's the thing, in these other communities, whether it's by our own doing or not, they have power and we don't.
But why don't we,
And that's the question. Why don't we? Because we don't, the Jewish community has power. The white community has power. Even Hispanic community to the degree has power. They're gaining power. Asians have power. We have none. And we have none. Say again?
We have none, I think, just because there's no self-respect. And in generally, I think that we also we look at them and we see, okay, why are they ahead? We can keep saying it's because they had a jump start. But how do they raise their kids? What are they doing with their children? Like there's certain things that if you want to be great at something, mimic what's already great.
Does it not start with family first?
Yeah, and connection. But see, the thing is, it's also having to start with yourself first, because most of our people don't like ourselves.
So this comment over here, they burned our cities down. Okay. Are they still burning it down, or is it us burning it down? So are we still going to put what happened in the past and blame the white people continuously when it is now us doing it to ourselves? Are we still calling white people devils when it's us killing ourselves?
Good point.
Are we, you know what I'm saying? This is when it's like, when we got to get out of the delusion. And I'm a proponent of forgiveness. I try my hardest. And I think a lot of our issue is that we don't forgive and we harness hatred and upset and anger in our hearts for even people that didn't even do nothing to you personally, but what happened in the past. But you can't move forward hating on people or caring what they think about you. They burned our cities. Tulsa, we understand that, in other communities. However, we ain't got no communities because we killing ourselves and burning our own shit. When we riot, we burn our own stuff down. Y'all not even smart enough to go to where they got the money and burn this shit because they kill you because they got guns and the police would show up, take your ass down. However, you can do it in your community. But you can do it in your community because they will allow it because it's your stuff that you messing up.
But your community, not even your stuff. Those aren't businesses owned by Black people.
Facts. Every Black community got a Chinese restaurant not owned by you.
It ain't a Black
shop, hair shop. Now none owned by you.
It's only certain states that have a Black community. Shout out to Georgia. In certain southern places that keep a Black community, when you go to places such as California, Nevada, there is no such thing as a Black community. There is a place where Black people migrate. But when you're next door to Little Mexico or you're next door to Chinatown, Koreatown, like you're saying, you might find they also do not allow certain Black people to open businesses in their strip malls. has nothing to do with, oh, we don't want your people. It's about them keeping things structured. We don't keep anything structured because we rather spend with someone else. If Courtney opened a nail shop, most of the time, Black nail techs don't do feet. They also are a lot rushy. The customer service is a lot different. I'm not saying that other nationalities don't have questionable customer service, but also they have beatable prices. So you also have to be able to either give excellent service and quality product, or for the price, or you're going to have to give cheaper prices for a little bit of the service, and they'll take you okay with your, your attitude or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that's the difference.
Thank you. This is from, thank you, Dub Will. Always good to see you. This is for you, Lucky. You're off on this one, Lucky. Learning to hunt, learning to handle firearm actually give you a higher appreciation for living things and less likely to delete.
I knew I was going to get some flack. I encourage you guys to read What Influences Kids to Become Killers, as well as something that's on PETA. It does mention that one of the things where the kids that are trained to be exposed to killing things of enjoyment or whatever from a young age, because they said it's synonymous with the kids that show signs of serial killer behavior. Those kids that just want to kill animals for enjoyment.
Yeah.
It starts them off. So they're saying that exposing them to that could be, there's levels to it where without responsibility, they've already been conditioned. So you can't control the response. And a lot of those kids, when it intensifies with anger, it expresses. So I encourage y'all to read that.
Okay. Robert Downey Jr. played a stereotypical Black man in Tropic Thunder in blackface. Yes, he did. And this is before cancel culture was a thing. But recently, within the past year or two, they were trying to cancel Robert Downey Jr. for doing it. But he's recently came out and said that he's not apologizing, which I don't think he should. He was funny in that movie. It was funny. Dane C. There was a movie called LaQuisha that sparked anger. I had no idea.
I never
Ever heard of a movie called LaQuisha?
Nope.
Oh, let me do a fact check now. LaQuisha movie.
The nerve.
I ain't never. He's right. What? Oh no, I'll show you guys. Boy, you learn something new every day. There is a movie called LaQuisha.
See, the bigger issue is, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Why the hell we name our children LaQuisha in the first place? I'm just going to go ahead and say it. That's the bigger issue.
LaQuisha is an overweight, dark-skinned Black woman with short hair, and I bet you she's loud. And look, he got the finger.
Look, there you go. So what was this movie about?
LaQuisha?
Yeah. I've never heard of this movie. Faced with financial crisis, Joe, a divorced, quick-witted bartender, applies for a job at a failing Detroit radio station as a Black female disc jockey. Okay. Ooh, so you already know he was probably like, oh my God. Oh my God. You already know.
Okay, so we're saying that so this is the Black version of Mrs. Doubtfire radio station type. Is this what we're getting?
I ain't never heard of that movie before. Wow.
Yeah, they did Babs. Remember Babs?
Well, yeah, but that was us acting.
I don't see nothing wrong. I don't see nothing wrong with it when we do it.
Okay.
I'm just be honest.
You don't see anything wrong with us perpetuating that negative stereotype of being ghetto?
What's negative?
I'm gonna put it back. Okay. You don't think it's negative when we do all the smacking, hand gestures, rolling of the neck with the attitude? The dialect that we use is not complete.
Okay.
Laughing loud.
My ghetto. Okay, so ghetto.
Okay. What is ghetto to you?
Ghetto could be my earrings. It could be the certain lingo that I use.
Okay.
It could be the color of my nails and the length of my nails. It could be it could be the fact that I like wearing gold rings on about 3-4 of my fingers. It could be the fact that I like more than one tennis anklet. I like more than one tennis bracelet. I like a thicker chain. that could be ghetto because it comes from a certain region or ethnicity. So what is that popular track star? Flojo, right?
Mm-hmm.
They called her ghetto because nothing about her demeanor was ghetto.
I don't think they called her ghetto. I think those were her nails.
They did call her ghetto.
They called her ghetto. I don't remember them calling her ghetto.
But they called her ghetto by her appearance. But when she spoke, when she, it interviewed, she was not loud. She was not obnoxious. She did not curse. So again, they did judge her based on her appearance. And it was primarily her nails because she didn't wear, clown makeup or anything like that. But I think when we talk about ghetto, I'm talking about loudness. I'm talking about cursing. I'm talking about being overly demonstrative. I'm talking about broken English. I'm talking about rudeness. I'm talking about titties out. I'm talking about all of it.
So classless type of thing.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay,
Let's go with that one.
The reason why I say ghetto is because usually when we use the term ghetto, we specifically think of Black people. And I intentionally always overlook the stuff like I just mentioned. Like you just said, they looked at her and said she was ghetto. If I had streaks of red hair or blue hair, Lucky is ghetto. I didn't even have to speak yet. I could have spoke very educated, but if you see this on a runway of blue hair, it's fashion. It's this. So that's why I wanted y'all to tell me what is ghetto. So if it's
I maybe this is me, but I never heard her being called ghetto at all. And I know her nails, she was known for her nails, but I didn't hear the ghetto. I always heard how beautiful she was. And even looking at her, pulling up pictures, there ain't nothing ghetto.
Well, see, you have to, that was avant-garde for the time. Again, her uniforms and everything like that. And it was primarily her nails. It was her nails. And again, we didn't have the outlets as far as social media, so you're not going to hear it as much, but I do remember hearing it.
Mm-hmm.
And again, because of her nails, her track uniforms with the one leg out, all of that was very avant-garde for the time. So I remember
if I had long nails like that, let's say I had long nails that curved and I didn't say anything, would you think I was ghetto, Courtney?
Just by nails alone, no.
But do you think that if it was another nationality of a person who was to see that, they would deem you as ghetto?
Unprofessional, but I don't think ghetto because long nails is a thing now. And
no, I'm specifically talking about the ones she had. They curved, or
I don't, and I don't think people necessarily think that's ghetto. As a matter of fact, I know there's a lot of people. There's a woman right now in the Guinness Book of World Records with those kind of nails. I don't think it's ghetto. I think it's nasty, but that's not deemed as ghetto to me. I don't think I'll be wondering where she working at. So no, I think it encompasses how you speak, how you carry yourself, how you look, even besides the nails. Like, how is your hair kept? Your makeup. I think that all encompasses the ghetto. Like, I don't call someone up. If I look at someone, oh, he probably hood. It's not because he has a chain. It encompasses a whole lot of stuff. How does he communicate? Is his pants?
That's a good analogy, because if you have tattoos on your neck as a man, or that's why there are certain things that they say we shouldn't do or shouldn't get because it comes with a stereotype, a stigma that may not.
I have tattoos. So if I walk out, you think, do I look ghetto because of my tattoo?
I think if you were to advertise them based on what you wore and you had your blonde braids up and you had big bamboo earrings, one might
all of it
be able to that. But the thing I'm saying, but once you start talking to you, I wouldn't care what you look like. Mm-hmm. You're not ghetto to me. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I think that's the thing. That's why I say I think when we do it, it's a lot easily acceptable. When they do it, it's like you automatically assuming, let me put the nails on all of this to display this angry LaQuisha woman. You know what I'm saying? But LaQuisha probably don't even wear nails. LaQuisha probably dressed conservative. She just loud.
But that's see, again, that's a whole nother thing though. And Mr. What's the name? You may not have heard it, but I did, sweetheart, David Sims. Again, I'm about to be 56. So I remember a lot of things. And And I remember that. Okay, so they did call it that. But with respect to the name, unfortunately, if somebody, like you said, if you're speaking to LaQuisha or whatever, she may be very articulate, she may be poised and all that. I'm sorry, but if, again, I'm an HR professional. Most often when they see a name like LaQuisha, it's a wrap.
They assume.
It's a wrap. You don't have to like it, but understand it's I've seen it. I've seen it even in the military when it came time for promotion boards and people's names come across, because you can look at their record, like they have a stellar record. Why didn't they get selected? But then you look at the name. So it's not right, but does it happen? It absolutely does.
That's what happened to y'all watch Basketball Wives? I'm sorry, Corny.
No more.
Okay, you know Malaysia?
Yes.
Her real name is LaQuisha, but she switched it and made her middle name her first name for that reason. So now it's Malaysia Parga or whatever instead of LaQuisha, because she also comes from Compton. Now, if you just looking at paper, LaQuisha from Compton, you know what I'm saying? So there's already things that kind of play a part.
Well, but here's the thing too, because if we have these names and worried about getting a job, we wouldn't have to worry about the names if we own it. But because we don't, and we're wanting to go in corporate America and corporate names that are, i.e. European names or white names, then that's the problem. So we don't own anything. So we have to assimilate into a corporate culture if you're wanting to get a good job. So it's either you get your child get this name or know that it's going to be a little harder. So we have it to. So I don't know. Did I name my child LaQuisha nothing? No, because I knew that she's going to be out here working. And I know her name is a little ambiguous. They're going to look at her resume and not know she's black or white.
Well,
and I purposely did that.
Pete Game. Again, I love my son-in-law. His name is Kevondrick. So after they graduated from college and he was, I knew his qualifications and I looked at his resume. I said, I'm going to tell you what's stopping you right now. Again, folks, I'm an HR professional. I've been doing this for a long time. So I said, this is what we're going to do. I want you to shorten your name, Kevon. I said, they're going to think it says Kevin. It's a wrap. I knew what I was talking about. I said, I'm not stupid. I just look like this. And the offers start rolling in. I know what I'm talking about.
I did.
See, the thing about ghetto names too, I don't know if y'all know this, but Courtney might enjoy this. I'm gonna start bringing my links in my books to Saturdays, because I remember this girl. Her name was like Laquita something, right? It had a hyphen. I said, "Oh, that is the ratchetest name you can name your kid." But she did this poetry where she talked about the old African Egyptian names, and they were just spelt different. But if you pronounce them and you switch them up to Americanize them, they'll have the sh, the tia, the isha on it. But if you go into that, that's kind of like where it came from. So a lot of their names would be Laquita. It would sound like LaQuisha. And I thought it was so interesting because now when I had these conversations, I'm less likely to call certain things ghetto that I don't understand just because it sounds outrageous. But they switched those names and gave us common names like Taylor, Robinson, Jefferson. You know what I'm saying? Names like that. Sarah, Lynn. Those, we never had simple names like that. But now it's like when we're getting jobs and we have to go to these structures, we have to name our kids names that are going to be socially accepted under this understanding in this country. So I always think that I'm always delicate to those situations when we come to judging Black folks, because a lot of things that trickle down into us today that we may not understand. Now, I know your mama did not think of it was an African name. She just heard it one day. But the fact that it still trickled down to even be able to call your kid something like that, I think twice when I hear names now.
But well, let me get to the super chats, and I want to ask something. Dane C, thank you again, Dane C, for the 2. Martin recently came under scrutiny for Shanae. I didn't know that. Was it because of the name, or him playing a woman?
I like
or playing a ghetto woman. Shanae. But that's when I think of ghetto, right? It's the all encompass of everything.
The package.
It's the package, right? Because I got my moments where I like to do a little extra, but I give my ratchet in spurts. But if I had it all together, and it was like, Corny, what's going on with you? Chef Shapino, thank you so much. I'm just sending some love to you ladies and the entire chat family. I appreciate you. What's it? Clutcher RBG. Let's get down to some basics. What are the qualities and values of the Black community in Georgia that can be used as an example for replication? That's a whole show. Is Atlanta really getting it right? Is that an example for a Black community, Atlanta?
Absolutely.
Because I left Atlanta. Okay.
Yeah, I don't care what they say about what they got going over there sexually. They are thriving. And I think that we can learn from their particular community. But the thing is it's all, even Maryland. You know what I'm saying? Like certain parts of Maryland, they have thriving Black, successful, rich communities. Yeah, Potomac. There's so many, but they're all in the South. I think once you get to the West, we're conditioned a lot differently. You know what I'm saying? Than those people down South. Down South, I think because a lot of the issues were primarily down South, they weren't all the way over here in like California and stuff like that. So I think that over here, it's always been mixed. You know what I'm saying? It's mostly Hispanic community popular. So I think regionally that matters too.
Yeah. And also Georgia's a red state. So we know that majority of states that deem to be red do a lot better than the blue state. So even Atlanta, the state, is a red state. So they still swerve more conservative, the state as a whole. Atlanta is thriving. I mean, there's a whole lot of Black people there. I guess a whole lot of people are running businesses, but I don't know if it's thriving because I don't know how well those businesses are doing, the percentage that are. I do know that Buckhead, that used to be so expensive to try to live, is now run down and no one moves in Buckhead no more. And who ran it down?
That's a good point.
Yeah, who ran Buckhead down? Take a wild guess. Us. So can we even be in a thriving community? Because
Well, let's ask ourselves this: what are the top 3 things that would call it a thriving community? Is it the people? Is it the families? Because you just mentioned families, which I totally agree. So it would be the success rate of how many Black household families there are. It would be the success rate of their kids, I would say, and how many successful businesses. Like, what is their Black dollar in that particular state?
Yeah.
And how quickly does it circulate? Yeah.
And then also education.
I was going to say education. Yeah, absolutely.
One thing before I move into a neighborhood is, particularly I'm talking about mine, is that I looked at the schools. Where are my children going to be going when they get of age, elementary, high school? Where are they zoned for? And I look at their grades. Oh, okay. Well, in math, they're in the 80, 90 percentile. Great. This is a great school system. You guys heard about what's going on in Baltimore? The 23 schools that none of them can even pass reading credentials. Like, Baltimore is in shambles in the school system. Again, blue. Again, a Black area. They're not thriving. I don't know.
That's a really good point because generally I was listening to something and it said, I don't know if it's factual, it just said Black people in general read at a 7th grade level. So that would be something to bring up. Like, what grade level are those people reading at?
Yeah. So education in that community, what is it? That's what I need to know.
This may sound bad. I'm sorry. But a lot of times, I wonder based on how a person speaks as far as their education out. if you are speaking a bunch of broken English, and I'm not talking about country, because every place has their twang. But if you are speaking on a regular basis in broken English and duh, I'm like, okay, are you really educated? And I'm not talking about college. I'm just talking on the strength, primary education. Because people a lot of times determine your intellect is right, wrong, and different. It is what it is by how you speak. Next.
No.
All
right. Well, let me wrap this up. But he now does, and this is talking about still the comic, and let me wrap him up. But he is now doing his comics on his website since he's been canceled. He's putting it on his website, and this is one that he did recently that I thought was kind of interested, kind of funny a little bit. He's talking about, I'm growing my internet advice business via a merger. All I need to do is break my new business partners out of a Romanian jail. What? This is when you need to stop asking questions. So this is actually a take on Andrew Tate.
I was going to say,
So now that he's being canceled, he's, I just saw the humor in that. So, all right, well, you've been canceled, Dilbert, and I don't. Look, someone said Dilbert for 2024. All right, y'all taking it a little too far. My favorite couple. I love
what's happening?
I was gonna say, like, that dress.
So Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade dedicated their NAACP President's Award to daughter Zaya. Did you guys watch the NAACP Awards?
Of course not.
Okay. No. Well, I didn't watch it much either, but I saw some snippets, and I saw this one where they won the President Award. And I wanted to get your guys' opinion on their thank you speech and their dedication to their daughter, Zaya.
Publicly speak to our daughter, Zaya. Zaya, as your father, all I've wanted to do was get it right. I've sat back and watched how gracefully you've taken on the public scrutiny. And even though it's not easy, I watched you walk out of that house every morning as yourself. I admire how you've handled the ignorance in our world. I admire it that you face every day. To say that your village is proud of you is an understatement. Thank you for showing me that there's more than just one way to communicate effectively. You've taught me that communication with my mouth isn't enough. I have to also communicate with my 2 ears and my 2 eyes. As your father, my job isn't to create a version of myself or direct your future. My role is to be a facilitator to your hopes, your wishes, and your dreams. You've made me a better human just simply by being who you were born to be, our baby girl, Zaya Wade. So baby, thank you for showing the world what courage looks like. I'm proud that I was chosen to stand in place as your father. And thank you so much to the NAACP for this incredible honor.
At the foot. Okay, I'm going to pause that now before I get to Gabby. So what did you think about what he had to say? Thanking Zaya because she is being who God created her to be, and that is his little girl. And that he does not want to encourage Zaya to be like him, but just to be whatever she wants to be. And that he is proud of Zaya for how she has been under scrutiny and how she has taken it. All the criticism at 15. What are your thoughts?
What did they get this award for?
It's the President's Award. So I looked up what the President Award was, and I said last year, I believe LeBron James won it, but it's an award that NAACP give for people that are doing things in the community, standing up against injustice, all the above. So that's what they won an award for. And they dedicated the award to Zaya.
Well, I'm going to say that I'm wondering.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I was raising my daughter and I had her involved in a lot of different things and doing things like ballet and piano. And people used to ask me, TJ, are you putting Danielle in these things because you are living vicariously through your daughter? Because I didn't have the opportunity. So my question becomes, is he living vicariously through his child? Wanting something, having this child act out something that maybe he wants for himself? Inquiring minds want to know. But to me, I think as a parent, I'm going to raise my child in the values of that I want to impart to him or her.
Mm-hmm.
While you are under my roof, you're going to do it my way.
Mm-hmm.
If I got to get you some counseling, I'm going to pray for, if, I understand that, trans children are more likely to harm themselves. I'm going to pray, but I'm not going to encourage that. I'm not going to foster it. I'm not going to boast. I'm not doing any of that. So, my daughter hated me for many things growing up. That would just be one.
Mm-hmm.
I hated my mom for many things growing up. That would just be another one. But as for me in my house, no, I wouldn't. No. I'm not with it. I'm sorry. I'm not with it.
Okay. All right. Lucky.
Why I always gotta be the bad person? Okay, the only thing that I had a disagreement with was God. I
Mhm.
personally have a struggle with faith as far as understanding who God is to me. So I need people to be a lot more specific when they say God made them this way, because if you're talking about the God that I'm choosing to try to understand, I don't think that he makes mistakes. I don't think that if he wanted him to be a girl, he would have made him a girl. I think that what happens is that we decide whatever we want to decide for our lives. I think that I commend him for saying how his son has courage to go out there and just be and look like whatever he wants and what he feels, because that is a sense of confidence. Look at us as women. We can't even go outside without a wig on our head, something that puts on a presentation to even be halfway as confident, and we still have insecurities. So for a young man to go out there is something totally different than what the world sees him and just say, I am proud to be this. I understand why that could inspire someone, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that as a parent, to get an award to then offer it to your child and make their child's sexuality the highlight of this award, it shows that you're exploiting your child. You're constantly putting his sexuality and the fact that he would be deemed weird to other people or different or whatever the case may be on display constantly. Everything that this couple does, they have to constantly put this boy's sexuality out there.
Mm-hmm.
If he is that way, he is that way. Why do you want to shove it in our face and to make us praise it with you? It shouldn't matter what we think. He's displaying that in his life, that it doesn't matter what no one else thinks. So why do you constantly have to push it in our face for us to feel the same way you do when we all don't? So I think that is a bit weird, and I can see why TJ would say that, because it's kind of like, are you excited? Because what is he saying?
Mm-hmm.
We don't even know. He probably just living his life, whatever, la skipping.
Right.
He's like, oh, I'm just so proud, almost in tears to see you living your truth. Okay, aren't you living in yours too? Like that's the point that is kind of weird to me. He seems like he's very excited for his child to be experiencing whatever he's experiencing to come into this. And it's almost like giving Bruce Jenner, you know what I'm saying, years before he became Bruce Jenner, and then you want to get an award. So that's the part that's weird to me. Not nothing that he said other than the God, because I just think, stop making God gay. Unless you're going to be specific of what your God you're talking about, because we can be considered insensitive to our opinions, but you're insensitive to constantly keep making it something that it is not. So if we're going to believe the damn book, it say one thing. That's what it say. Now, if you're going to say, well, I understand it from this, we also understand it births new revelation, so we all can get different understandings, right? But none of us can read it and say that we think that God makes people with a different I made you a woman with these particular chromosomes, but I also made a mistake because I put the spirit of another gender inside of you. I want you to live in this spirit. So that's just more confusing. I like the God that's more so say as I do. I mean, do what I say. I like that type of stuff. Because if I choose not to do it, I'd be like, okay, I'm sinning. When I lived that lifestyle, I didn't try to bring God with me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was just what I chose to do personally. So that's my opinion.
Well, Lucky, I agree with you on what you said, and more in particular in the fact that it feels as if D Wade is the one and Gabrielle Union is pushing all this on Zion. Zion's not necessarily asking for it. You don't hear Zion speak. You're not hearing anything. It's all those two parents. And my idea, and I'm going to pull this up too, because while they're praising Zaya, what about the other kids?
I guess they're not living in their truth because they identify as a boy.
I mean, I guess let me see.
They need special. I understand why they do that though, because the kid that's different or that has a little bit of problem dealing with their reality, they need more attention, so that could be the case.
Well, attention from parents, okay, but you're putting Zaya on a platform for millions, and no one is criticizing Zaya like that. We wouldn't know if they wouldn't keep throwing Zaya in our head. Like our last show, we talked about how now they've changed the birth certificate to a female, which I don't know how in the world that's possible when Zaya ain't never had a sex change. So you mean to tell me I can go and change my sex without doing nothing? I can just go to make me a man.
I'm about to do that.
I mean, no sex change was able. So you're the one that changed her name legally. You're the one that changed the birth certificate to change from male to female.
Right, because you need
we wouldn't know none of this if D Wade would shut the hell up. So he's using his child.
Yeah, he's trying to, because if it wasn't for the Zaya, if it wasn't for Zaya, will we be talking about Dwayne Wade?
Or Gabrielle Union at that?
Every time we hear them, they're talking about this baby.
Fact.
Do you know how many things Danielle wanted to do as a teenager? Do you know how many things she wanted to wear as a teenager?
Mm-hmm.
That I said no, because I'm the parent.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to make the decision that I think is best for you.
Yeah.
How many theatrics I had to go through because I didn't do it. But she's still here.
That's
and
the
when
thing.
She left my house. She could do whatsoever she wanted to do, but I wasn't going to do that.
You said that you thought was best. They think this is best.
That's where they're failing, because again, doing what is best is not always what the kid wants. It's what you know to make the best in the best interest of the child.
But that's what I'm saying. Maybe they felt this is the best interest. Yeah.
Lucky is saying that they think this is the best interest of the child to change Zaya completely at 15 to now be a girl.
And that's stupid, because what if they know at 15?
But what if Zaya at 15 or 16 or whatever, what if Zaya is also a little bit confused, right? What if she starts to have a little bit of confusion, but feel like she has to keep this up because her parents are so supportive?
Because this is making her parents proud. It's making them money. It's getting them more notoriety. So I have to continue on knowing that I really want to maybe play basketball, but I can't now because now I got to do this because now you put me in the freaking spotlight where I'm a child. And you're putting me in a spaces for adults that adults can handle, and half adults can't even handle this spotlight. Because again, you see the celebrities losing their freaking mind. So even adults can't do it. I don't know. I'm going to get to Gabby, but let me get to some of the super chats here. Marcus Evans, thank you so much, my darling. Hello, beautiful sisters. I'll always respect D Wade as a legend, but as a man, nope. I feel you on that. I'm not Mr. Mutu K, I appreciate you. And this is from, oh, hello, Lay. Okay, from Paris, France. All right. Well, I see you. As an African father, this obscure and anti-human agenda is being pushed by organizations like the NAACP. That's sad. The abnormal has become normal.
We are here.
Hear, hear. What is going on? Prophecy, the savior. Okay, for the $20, thank you so much. Gabrielle Union is the mastermind behind this, and D Wade has no backbone. So technically, this child is following the rules of the household, and I bet money once D Wade once D Wade cheated, she made it her mission to ruin his kids, and I wouldn't be surprised. I think something going on with Gabrielle Union. I'm going to figure it out. I've been doing my little research on good old Gabby. She living foul. That's all.
I mean, she's whatever. Women are multipliers. Whatever he gave her, she's multiplying it.
Yes. Oh, Wade is still a boy in my eyes. Guessing that's for Zion. All right, let's listen to what Miss Gabby had to say, because again, this ain't her son, but you know who talked the most and who was so passionate about Zaya. It wasn't a daddy, it wasn't a mama, it was the old stepmama.
Of a very new era of activism. A new era that demands our collective answer to one simple question. Will we fight for some, or will we fight for all of our people? Let's just name a couple hard truths. First, the intersection of Black rights and the rights of the LGBTQIA, trans, and gender nonconforming people continues to be rough. It's a huge understatement. Even as we demand equality at the top of our lungs, we consistently fail to extend our advocacy to protect some of our most vulnerable among us. And second, Black trans people are being targeted, terrorized, and hunted in this country. Every day, everywhere. And there's rarely a whisper about it. We honestly don't approach this work as activists or leaders as much as we do this as parents. Parents who love our children and will do whatever the hell we can to keep them seen and secure and safe. This is a conversation worth having in ways that can actually build bridges, right? That don't fan the flames of hatred or division. That don't enable lawmakers or justice systems to look the other way when Black trans people are under attack. They don't drive more young people to hate themselves or harm themselves. They don't cost people their lives. So we are humbled and we are hopeful for the future. We are hopeful that we may witness a real shift in the fight for justice. The moment the movement makes room for everyone. Everyone. Thank you.
Black trans kids are under attack. They are being hunted. Does anyone know who's hunting Black trans kids?
I thought she said Black trans people.
Oh, okay.
I didn't hear her say kids. I thought I heard Black trans people. I didn't.
Well, are they being hunted?
I don't know.
Does anyone know who's hunting them down?
I just thank God that I actually know this statistic. Last year, 32 Black trans women, or probably about 32, 36 Black trans murders were reported, as opposed to over 1,400 actual Black women murders. Mm-hmm. So how can she sit up here and make it seem like no one's talking about this large issue? You, Black woman, born a Black woman, you should be talking about the issues that are the problem with your community as well, which you actually are, but you're choosing to take a stance in what Zaya should be taking a stance on. Zaya should be speaking about this when Zaya becomes old enough to be recognized for something. But now we're recognizing Dwayne Wade. You want to highlight the daughter and then bring the wife up here to talk about an issue that is a lot less smaller than the issue that she can actually be represented as a Black woman. And then because she's such a good actress, how I even know that this emotion is actually authentic.
I was about to say that, because if you see how she was really giving the speech, because I couldn't show it out here because they flag, but she was so theatrical and it seemed so fake.
I could hear it in her voice, but I wasn't seeing her. Without even seeing
like,
her.
I was like, give me a break. You over here trying to get an Oscar.
It sounded like she was stumping for a political race.
It might be in her future. But I was like, she is giving a show. It didn't even feel genuine. But the whole thing about Zaya doesn't feel genuine. It feels pushed. And I think we are just like, let Zaya be Zaya, okay? We don't need to know this 15-year-old business. I remember last year they were showing pictures of Zaya kissing her transgender boyfriend. The child can't be a child. And I cringe to think and what's going to happen when Zaya becomes an adult.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she said that it's there to keep their children seen. That was first. Secure and safe. Why do your children need to be seen? And we only see one. Well, sometimes we see baby girl, but no, we seeing Zaya.
Yeah.
Why do they need to be seen?
And if I was their child, like I said, I'll be like, I mean, I got all A's. Can I get some recognition?
I gotta put on a dress to get this
put on it. And and as far as even with parenting, like even mine did, like I don't give attention. I don't celebrate bad behavior. You get nothing from me. But good behavior, I celebrate that. Yes, you made all A's, great. But that's how you get my attention, by your greatness. I don't do foolishness. So we celebrate greatness. And now it's as if his other children probably like, well, darn, I got to slap somebody to get attention from my parents because all they doing is up Zaya's ass. So let me say this about the Wades, though. Correct. Because I know we get on them a lot, right? And it's deserving, okay? I think Gabby need to be locked up, but that's the whole. I think it's child abuse what they're doing to Zaya.
I think it is.
It's child abuse, and I think they need to be locked up. But I didn't know, looking into this president's thing, what the D Wade family is really doing. And it sucks because if we saw a lot of the businesses that they were doing and they put emphasis and attention on that and leave Zaya alone, I think it would be remarkable and something teachable, and a lot of people would respect D Wade more. Let me pull this up because I had no idea what they had their little hands into. And then, hold on, before I pull it up, Lucky, I'm thinking too, could Zaya be a sacrifice? Let me why that popped in my head, but some of the stuff that they are doing. And this is just a few, mind you. So I had no idea that they own their own company. It's called Proudly, and it's a baby care line that's in Target. Did y'all know they had a baby care line? They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it's like 6 or 7 things that's under Proudly for babies with melanin in it, and it's for care for eczema, baby rashes, baby wipes, and it's sold in Target nationwide. Who knew? But they don't talk about this stuff, which this is stuff to celebrate, not you abusing your child.
Why didn't they dedicate this award to their new, sorry, let me just get my words together because a lot want to come out. Okay, why didn't they dedicate this award to we need more Black couples that are branding their couples. This was my issue with Sierra. Mm-hmm. Like we need the Beyonce when she made Partition. Hey, look, I am married, Beyonce. Let me tell. And we can sing whatever, but I'm talking about the advertisement, the goals, the things that we always looking for a savior. Y'all keep putting transgender saviors in our face, and it's not a problem. if that's what you truly represent. But I think we also have to understand, if they're choosing to represent this, then we need to stop, not us in general, but you know what I'm saying, we as a collective, stop looking at them as relationship goals, because they're not even highlighting this is a perfect relationship. Like, you know what I'm saying? Postcard, be like us. We have a healthy family. We accept our children for what they are. Be like us. We have a business. They're just saying, be like Zaya. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing that just even includes Zaya in a brand fully. You know what I'm saying? It's just like she's separate and they wish they could be like her.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to go over some more stuff they're doing, but let me shut out these super chats. I appreciate you so much. Stephen Brown, excuse me. She lied right through her teeth. Black, trans, and gay people are not being hunted and killed. If anything, they're being killed by their own. Whoa. All right. Say it with your chest. Prophecy to Savior again. Thank you so much. Y'all saw how Gabrielle Union did her ex-husband. She lives and breathes chaos. Okay.
What you do?
So she came out with, it was an interview that she was
Oh,
on.
she
saying
cheated
that
on him?
she was cheating on him.
Okay.
Yeah. And I guess maybe she was the breadwinner, or was he the breadwinner?
She was the breadwinner. I remember that viral clip because it was shared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't know
and
how
she
she
felt like because she was, that she could cheat because she was taking
told
care of
him.
home.
Yeah, she told him. But now look, he taking care of home. So she can't cheat. That's being Mary
I'm
Jane.
sure what he probably cheating with is probably what she encourages.
They do it together.
Hello. Pagan. Okay. George Woods, allegedly, maybe, possibly. She's a poor excuse of a police officer. I agree. This is going back to Tennessee. Okay, an embarrassment to the position. I totally agree. Thank you so much, Prophecy to Savior. See, I'm telling y'all, that's not even her child, but it seems like she's trying her best to ruin this man and his kids. Why doesn't the biological mother have a say? So, SMH, this is sad. Homie is down bad.
How are we blaming Gabby, though? Like, she's trying her best to ruin this man. He is the man. Like, yeah, we talk all this leadership, but now we're not going to attack him for his leadership being slanted. We're going to attack her. She's operating under the parameters that he allows.
Or the lack thereof.
Or maybe he's not. I don't think he claims to be a leader. I think he's said before that
it don't matter what we claim, right? You are appointed that when they made you and they slapped you on the butt. You want to be a husband. You didn't say, Gabby, I want to be your wife. You said, I want to be your husband. The husband out of the book you read, and the ceremony comes with you being the leader, period. That's just what it is.
I hear you. Chemo. Gabby was great at 19 at gunpoint, and she can't have kids. Oh, wow.
Oh, no.
I didn't know it. Do you think that has any effect on her? Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Ooh.
I take back anything I said.
Well, that's one of the things that, as far as being Mary Jane, that they paired with her own life story because of the fact that it was very difficult for her to have children.
Mm-hmm. Does that change it for you, Lucky?
That hit a soft spot.
Mm-hmm.
That's horrible, because I don't know how your mindset could be, looking at men or just in general after that experience. Like, most women have experienced that, like, if we be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But in that way, you know what I'm saying? And then you were 19, so I'm not gonna say she's still living through that. It makes an excuse of who she is today. You have to get through your own trauma, like we all do. We can't just be out here saying this is the reason why we're doing this. But that does add more context to why her mindset is what it is, why she probably looks at him for admiration, to be able to walk and not care, because we don't know what shackles she's kept on herself to where she hasn't been able to live that same way.
Yeah.
Well, it gives an idea why she may seem more dominant, because again, if that is the case, this is what happened when I was a vulnerable young girl. I'm not going to be vulnerable anymore. I'm in
charge, and I'm taking lead, and therefore I got a submissive husband that I can be able to lead the family. And not only that, I can lead his children.
But the mother though, like she's really fighting against this, and it's kind of like you as a mom or aspiring to be a mother, whatever your position was, Gabby, I think that you should have a heart for her being a mother. And even talking with your husband, like, look, the mother doesn't agree with this, and I feel a little bit uncomfortable because this is you guys' family. So if y'all aren't on the same accord, I don't think that it's the best idea for me to speak up at an award show on behalf of you guys' child and saying I'm proud of this if I know she's publicly against this, you know. So it kind of seemed like they're trying to make a statement against her too.
You
know?
Well, I know that he has sole custody, and they was in a custody battle for a while. He has complete sole custody, and so, you know, mom ain't got no say in this, which is again sad. Man, okay, so they got the baby products in Target. Did y'all know he had a wine?
And why did he wear that?
I don't know. I have no idea. So he has Wade, which is a brand wine, and this is all red wine. I believe it's Cabernet, and there's one called Third. So he has his own wine that he's had for, I think, since 2018. He has an awesome website that this is on. It's affordable. It ranges from $42 to $100. So I'm like, why are you not talking about your wines?
They could have got a lot of sexy commercials off of this.
Absolutely. But again, it's you putting it all on your child. But you're doing all of these things, which I think is incredible. And I would like to know more about these.
Bring up your sacrifice that you brought up. Why did you say that?
Because all of this happened after the fact he got custody and Zaya came out. All of these branding deals that he's getting, this is all new. And it's a lot. If you look at his catalog of everything that he has his hands on, and this is after like 2017, 2018. So this is fairly new, and it is a lot. And I just know how Hollywood is.
Oh, they doing this speech for the bag.
And did she not say, TJ, what did you write down? What they're doing it for him to be seen, and what else?
They want to make sure their children are seen, secure, and safe.
What is security?
Money.
Financial security? Look, I don't put nothing over nobody. I don't care.
Hiding in plain sight.
Got his own shoe line.
That's
and it's popping in China. Again, 2018, Wade signed a landmark deal with his own particular shoe brand, and currently in 11 Wade retail stores across in China. Did y'all know this?
No, that is an ugly shoe.
It ain't. It's something. But again, own shoes. 11 different stores in China selling, and these shoes running about $200. 3 different types of wines. Has a brand in Target. You know how hard it is to get in Target? But we don't know none of this. Budweiser's first zero alcoholic beer, Budweiser Zero, with zero sugar, is developed and co-founded in partnership with he has his own thing of beer. We know nothing about this stuff. And again, this is just a few.
Maybe he wants to be silent on those ventures. You know, a little silent owner.
But this is he's branding. He has his own branding company. He has his own production company. He has so much that's going on. And I just thought that was interesting. So again, it's a lot of stuff that's going on with D-Wade, but we don't know anything about it because he's putting his child first. And that issue.
Only one child, and that's the problem. Only one child.
Only one. Now, mind you, he has, how many kids does he have?
I think 4, including 4 or 5.
Zaya's 21. You got Zaya that's 15. Xavier's 9. Was it Asia? With Asia. Oh, there's somebody else. Okay. Kavana, is that the baby's name? That's 4, and then they
Xavier.
adopted. Okay, and
Yeah.
then they adopted one of his nephews. So that's
Oh, okay.
that's like 5 under his care. Okay. So D-Wade, interesting. Would y'all consider him corny?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is D-Wade corny?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's beyond corny. He's like corny to the 10th
I
power.
think he's weak. It's a disappointment.
Well, y'all know who else is the people is calling corny? Michael B.
That sexy creed of a man. Yeah.
How dare anybody call him corny?
Not Tweety Bird.
I loved his witty retort when she was I loved it.
She's out here looking like a whole McDonald's French fry and have the audacity to come for Michael B.
With the McDonald's, you know, the one that was a robber. She got the black.
Oh, she does look like the hamburger. Hell no! Oh.
Say what?
I gotta pull up the Hamburglar. She does look like the Hamburglar. Wait a minute, let me say what? Lord, the Hamburglar is in full effect, and she has the audacity to come for Michael B. Get on her. Oh no, y'all. Out here, a hamburger. That does look like her.
With the yellow? Come on. Talking about corny.
Out here robbing McDonald's for their Happy Meals and have the audacity to talk about Michael B.
She forgot she did it too.
Yeah. Let's pull up what she had to say. And she came back, and honestly, from looking at the podcast, she might not have been the one that said it. So let's go into that first.
Michael B. Jordan, the director and the star of Creed 3. And, we know each other. We go way back all the way to Chad Science in Newark, okay?
The corny kid, right?
No, I did not say that. Misquoted for sure. No, you did not hear me say. I said we used to make fun of the name. But yeah, he is obviously killing things out here.
She was so stumped. What she tried to do was try to make it seem like we go way back. Like I've been knowing him. No, I was corny. So you don't know me. I love how he corrected her just real quick. Because it's like you don't know when you up there giving your opinions, you don't know how that could have affected that person's coming up. So you also have to stand on what you said. She could have been like, look, I thought you was corny, but look, you even proved us wrong, including me. Shout out to you. She could have owned it, but she tried to, what? Exactly. No, you misquoted. Now you lying. Just own it and be like, look, now I'm interviewing you. Like,
right. Oh, how the web we weave when we make fun of people for no daggum reason, and then how the tides turn, and then now, you know what, that's biblical. Because God said he will make your enemy your footstool. Is this not the word coming to life? Now, this was on a podcast, and what she said was that her words was taken out. She didn't necessarily call him corny, and that she was just making fun of his name, Michael B. Jordan. So let's listen to the podcast real quick and see what she really said.
On inside, I think that Michael B. Jordan is just like a nice, corny guy. And I don't mean that as a slight, right? I mean, we all know that the nice, corny guys treat you the best.
You know, it's so crazy. I went to school with Michael B. Jordan at a point in life, and we went to Chad Science together in Newark. And to be honest with you, we teased him all the damn time because his name was Michael Jordan. Let's start there. And he was no Michael Jordan. And then he also would come to school with headshot. And back then, that was like in the hood. We lived in Newark.
Yeah.
Like that's the hood. You know what I mean? So we would make fun of him, like, what you gonna do with your little stupid headshots? Like, and now look at him.
Now look at him. He got that Black Panther money.
Well, yeah, I didn't. I missed it. I could have been in the aquarium swimming with the fishes, but
with your Hermes stock or whatever.
Instead, I'm swimming in Mexico by myself, child. But anyway,
he gives me cookie cutter, and the only time I hung out with Michael B is like in LA, like at Shay's house, and he's always just very like. He's just cool. I think
he's too rich to have to be hood now. Like you just be, boy, if you don't take him millions and go to Hermes and get some stock.
So that was the interview, and
I see it though. I could see what she was saying on why she would be taken aback, because she was just saying like, we used to call him that and look at him now, but that's how she should have introduced it on the red carpet. Like, look, the dude we used to call corny, look at him now. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I feel like she should have remixed it to make him feel okay with it and not just remember a part of what she said was calling me corny. But I don't think he's corny at all.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing that I want to say. She probably forgot that she even made fun of him until... because here's the thing. When you make fun of people, you forget what you do to them, but they never do. So when he said that, it did take her back because, again, especially, kids, young people, you're just doing what young people do, and young people are mean in school. Hell, they did it to me. Like I said, they probably forgot, because I had we had a get together with some high school mates about a few months ago, and we were talking about that, and I shared some of the things that they said about me. They forgot all about the stuff that they said. I never did.
We do keep that in our memory banks for sure, because it means we take stuff to heart. It's personal to us when someone's just flaming someone, and then it's like, no, I remember that because she went to high school with him, not high school, excuse me. They went to school together in the 7th grade. Now, mind you, Michael B. Jordan, I think is like 36. How old are you in the 7th grade? Like 12? So this is roughly about 24 years since they've been to school together. And he's, I guess it still either remembers that in the 7th grade or remembers that podcast that they were
the interview.
Right.
It could have been the interview, but also... what she was trying to explain is that just think of when you were in 7th grade and you was taking headshots to school. Kids are stupid. They're gonna be like, oh, they don't clown you for anything. They clown you if you match too much.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just certain things that they'll find funny. So I also think it probably was the podcast part where she kind of doubled down on it or, referenced it again, because she didn't need to bring that up. We would have never known that.
Do you think now, hearing the real audio of that conversation, that the flack that she's getting, do you think it's warranted now? Because she's getting a lot.
She should. I think it would teach us, and even myself, to be so slow to just speak against something, because you never know in a year from now or whenever time would take what you're speaking against. You don't know who you're talking to, and then you might be the one that actually look dumb as hell. Or that there's been situations. It was a girl who talked about being in a drive-through of McDonald's, and she said something like to the person in front, like something smart ass to him, because she was trying to rush and get him out the driveway line. Because she had to go to an interview, and she was trying to get her breakfast for the interview. The person she was being an asshole to was the person that interviewed her. So I'm saying, like, you really don't know who you talking to, who you talking about. You might just be in that situation where now that person is assessing you. If you good enough for whatever situation. So he's looking at you. Are you good enough for my interview? I was corny. So.
Yeah.
Check and mate.
TJ.
I mean, I'm just going to keep it that way because, again, I'm not rich or anything like that. But, again, that is somebody put in there. It fuels you. It did. When I was in college, in high school, because I was poor. My mom did drive a hoopty. I got ragged on when she drive me to school in her bucket, and dogged out. But it did drive me.
Yeah.
It sure did. And I'm like, look at me now, because I was fly.
How do you guys define corny?
It's sad they were saying basically he was nice. That's how I look, because she said the corny guys treat you right. Basically, the nice guys. That's how I took it.
You think nice guys are corny?
No,
I think that's what they were thinking.
Corny is a certain characteristic you have. It could be the fact that you laugh and you snort. It could be like you're more of a goofball, Jamal. Like, you're more of like, hi guy. It could be like the way you walk. Maybe you walk linky, or maybe you'll swag the way you somebody just said you're lame. But no, I wouldn't say you're lame, because you could be lame is different. But I think corny could just be certain ways you carry yourself, like Love Don't Cost a Thing. Nick Cannon character Pool Boy, he was corny.
Well, look, people still call Nick Cannon corny.
He's corny because he can't rap, but he gonna do it anyway. But he's the cool nerd. He's the cool.
Wait a minute, Lucky. Okay, we doing the exact same thing, are we not?
No, but I don't.
Wait a minute, you gonna be on the red carpet and then gonna find Nick Cannon.
I would never interview Nick Cannon about whether he can rap. He can't. I stand on that no matter where my life take me. Nick Cannon can't rap.
I'm a gigolo, spinning lots of dough.
Now I love him. I love him as an artist, but as a rapper, no. It's corny. His rap, that's perfect. Corny. His rap
is corny.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, she had some more to say. Real quick, let me pull this up. L'Oreal is her name. Wasn't she on Love and Hip Hop? L'Oreal, New York. Lucky? Yeah, she was.
It's crazy. And the things that people are saying.
Still looking like the Hamburglar. She's going to have to give up this yellow hair and this black and white. I cannot.
Now it's bad. Every time
it's too much, L'Oreal. The Hamburglar.
And she had black hair.
She what?
She had black hair too on the show. That's why I didn't realize it was her off.
Yeah. Boy, and them glasses. This is a bad freeze frame.
They hope I get raped and killed and popped in my head. So it's one last be in the world. Like, I just think, like, if you were upset because you thought I called him corny and those are the things that you're rebuttaling with, it's like the crime and the punishment, that if that's what you thought I said, it doesn't even match up. Like, how is that okay? The narrative is definitely still pushed. I feel like I admitted exactly what I said. And then even those words got turned around. When I told the story, it was super lighthearted. It wasn't even in the sense of me breaking down the entire school experience. FYI, we went to school together for 1 year. So the narrative that I bullied him all throughout high school, this was 7th grade. We were like 12 years old and everybody made fun of each other. And then like, I would get joked on because of my complexion. And, I went to a predominantly Black school. So it's like white girl, oh, your boy, now you're mocking me because of my voice. We made fun of each other. That was school, that was 1 year. Again, I've never bullied him. That just sounds so outrageous to me. Like me bullying Michael B. Jordan his whole life. Wouldn't we have heard about this before this? Yeah, I do feel like he took everything out of it. It gave the Will Smith thing where it's like, he's heard numerous people probably call him this before because this is not something we haven't heard, right? I just never said it. I've defended him numerous times just because of the fact that I did have a rapport with him. And I never said we were best friends. I never said, we were cool. And that was just that. So when I was even asked to do the carpet, I did it because I'm like, oh, this is a big moment for him. And I thought it would be dope. Just the fact that, I did know him when he was young and it just went totally left. I didn't expect it to go like that.
It was a big moment for her too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a big moment for him, but it was a big moment for her too. She just didn't anticipate that he would say the corny guy. I don't think that she should get death threats and all that kind of stuff. I think it, like you all have already said, it's just a cautionary tale of how we treat others. Because we never know when we're, they say don't burn your bridges because you never know if you're gonna have to cross it. And again, the same people you mess over going up, you'll see coming down. So I think it's very a cautionary tale. And a lot of times as kids, we don't, I think about, just when I, pledged some people, I didn't, you never know how certain things may affect people.
Yeah.
Just don't.
Yeah. Let me read the super chat. Thank you, Michael Richardson. Riddle me this. Did they sell their souls to the DV? Michael, what's the DV? Y'all know what that is?
Devil, I'm thinking.
Yes, maybe.
I don't know no more. I'm learning to be slow to speak and quick to listen. So I don't know what these people do.
A hot mess. So you know who else called him corny?
What did he say to her? Did he say something past what we saw?
No.
Boo!
Joe Budden always got a lot to say. That was a lot. Now I do agree money does not hide corny, but there was nothing corny about him going up to, she went up to him and saying, I remember what you said, calling me corny, right?
First of all, she's the one who referenced her school days to try to make a connection that she had above anyone else. Because now she's saying, we just went to school for just 1 year. It was enough for you to remember to bring it up in an interview to make it seem like I know something. I'm a little bit more connected. So I think Joe Budden was just being Joe Budden on his podcast. But at the same time, it's quite rich that he's saying how you speak to her, but you literally constantly on national television constantly made Tahiri look stupid. You constantly made the women that you were with look stupid, calling them bitches, being disrespectful constantly. So now you're trying to speak up from a woman who we clearly her whole life, like she stated, they didn't even identify her as Black. So you're now sticking up saying, let's talk to this Black woman like this. Now you for Black woman's right, but then you just was talking about what other male artists that you would bend him over. Like it's just, you pick and choose what you. That's what I'm saying. Nobody takes this serious. Like you can't have this fake outrageous stance about how he spoke to her just by saying, "Hey, I was the corny guy," right? That's not speaking to her any kind of way. But now you're saying he's speaking to her a certain way, but your whole record reflects that you have disrespected women that you have been with and had a kid with. So like,
he said it jokingly. He wasn't nasty about it.
No, he wasn't.
That's why I said, did he say something else other than what we saw?
He probably liked Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, well, he did come out and say he was bisexual. I don't know if that was,
but nobody even cared when he said it. Like this is what I'm saying. Like anybody can come out. We don't care what y'all do in y'all bedroom.
We don't.
Y'all shove it in our faces. I
don't need to know it.
And he was being sassy. Word of the week.
Sassy.
See what Ricky put in there. You see what Ricky put in there.
What?
Joe, but
Joe in the whole entire. Oh Lord.
You gotta get that too. Can play that game clip where she's like, Sashay, Shantae.
Oh, she had it when she was doing that little move. Vivica. Shantae. Yeah, she was. She had them shoulders was up.
That's what I think of when I hear Joe Budden.
Joe Budden and the Hamburglar. All on Michael B. Jordan. Creed came out yesterday. I think I might go tonight to watch it, actually. I think I will.
We're going tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, you ladies, this is going to, I think, conclude what we are doing this week with Say What? Say what? What you say, Lionel? Say it again, baby. Say what? His little lips. I feel them.
It kind of reminds you of what's his name, Jonathan Majors, with his lips.
Yeah,
his lips are like that though.
His lips are like that for real. I think
very juicy.
But it was the pose that just seemed more defined. But his mouth is like
he's always doing. Yeah, little duck lips.
They are kind of juicy. You know, back in the day, they would call those soup coolers.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, did Creed just come out before this?
Oh, snap. It came out yesterday. Check this out. Wait a minute. Let's find out. Little TLC.
Oh, I didn't even realize
I didn't know that.
Oh my goodness.
Say what?
Wait a minute.
Say what?
Little tender love and care, huh?
Oh no. So I would be Chili. Lucky, you Left Eye.
Why I gotta be the dead one?
You the and TJ, you T-Boss.
I don't like that. Well, you know what?
Actually.
Left Eye was very pretty, so I'll take it.
Well, all of them was gorgeous.
And feisty.
Yeah.
Feisty. I love Left Eye, though. I just have to say.
Yeah.
That was cute.
Let me go through a
But I was gonna say
Mhm.
right through that. I was just gonna say real quick. What if he said that because he knew it would be a viral moment to give a little bit of publicity for his movie? But yeah, go ahead.
Could be. Could be. And what if he said, "Hey, I'm gonna check you on that comment that you said." Maybe he told her about it. We don't know. Because that could have happened. Because that actually, if that was me and I was L'Oreal, I probably would have been taken aback and be like, "What?" I could have stuttered or something. But she actually did well considering the heat that he put her under. So I think she was like, no, that was not. It was taken out of context. Like, because if it was me, I would have been like, huh? I said, when I said that? Who said that?
Now you still mad from 7th grade? That'd have been a good response.
Ooh, that would have been something else. All right. Marcus Evans, dope show. Let's take your channel to the next level. We're going to take this show to the next level. That's what we're going to do. Old Fox Soul biddies over there. Got my eye on you, Vivica.
Sasha.
Yeah, you've had to grow Vivica a couple of times, haven't you?
Yes.
I would love to see them two in like a one-on-one back and forth.
Yeah, I'm coming for you, Viv. What we got here? Gretchen Morris, thank you so much for the super chat. They say sticks and stones will break my bones. Words will never hurt me. Words do hurt. Yes, they do.
They do.
I totally agree. Make sure I got all the super chats here. Oh, Joe Budden is the last person to call someone corny. Voice sounding like the people in the cigarette commercials with the hole in the voice. Not the. Oh, he's petty. Prophecy to Savior, thank you so much for the 10. It's sad Joe Budden, who has a history of dating outside of the race and has verbally and physically abused women, had a beef with his son, and he's known to be a weirdo, can call someone like MLB corny. Shake my head. Hey, is that the pot calling the kettle black? Black is the kettle? For sure. All right, you ladies, it has been trill. I'm going to go see Creed. I'm going to support Corny. And I think we need to start supporting Corny. Okay, it's the
in with the corny, out with the thugs, the thug.
And this was his directorial debut.
Yeah, he's directing.
I was a dictator.
I was wondering why Dick came out.
Wait a minute, this is what about his dick? What?
Say what?
I'm in directorial debut.
Mr. Randolph must be coming home. Her words.
I know what's on your mind, TJ.
He already home. Leave me alone.
See, that's what's going on. She's like,
say what?
That was a Freudian slip for real.
Anyways, you ladies, I appreciate you. And until next time, you guys, Saturdays, say what? We'll be back. What color should it be next week? I like the red.
I like the red.
I like the red too.
No. We'll figure
We'll deliberate. We'll deliberate. What does the chat suggest for next week?
Yeah, I know. What color should be next week? The first color I see is what it's going to be.
Uh-oh.
I don't know. This went quick. It was 2.5 hours. I told you we got things to do. All right, bet. Next week we're in green.
Because I was gonna suggest green.
I was thinking green. Interesting. I was thinking green for real.
Teal green. So that's kind of like
teal. All right. Next week, ladies, we're gonna be fabulous in our gorgeous green.
We got green twice, 3 times. Okay, green.
Must be a thing. Okay. All right. So you guys, thank you so much. Until next time. Say what? We'll see you guys next week.